meeting is being recorded, so what to have a...
Hello?
Yes, Prof, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, Prof, we are hearing you, but I've muted you.
You're placed on mute until it's your turn to talk.
Yes. So, Prof, I have to place you on mute. When you want to talk, we unmute you. Okay? So, basically, this is just an introductory meeting and a discussion. But before we continue, we would like to know who are on the meeting. I have myself, Dr. Ada Junior Kika, who is the Executive Director of Center for SDG Global Education USA. And I have His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Dennis Antoine, who is a UN ambassador to the United Nations of the country of Grenada, and the one time the deputy president of the UN General Assembly 69 section. I also have Dr. Jide Enakaya, who is a neonatalist in the UK and the vice president of Barrister Juni and Irene Menakaya Foundation, United States and Nigeria. So, Prof, I have some faces here that I'm going to unmute you to introduce them. Yes. Hi, Prof. Ibe, can you introduce them?
I'm not seeing anybody. I'm only seeing myself.
No, you have to be on video.
On video?
Yes.
Okay, I stay on video. Don't worry now.
Yes. Joined by video.
I joined by video.
Everybody is seeing you.
I know you are seeing me, but this is the video. You are seeing me. I don't know. Are there people from my university that is online?
Yes, you have them. I have Dr. Elijah.
Yes, Elijah is the head of Savicom.
Okay, and I have Nwagu Chima.
Nwagu Chima is the head of ICT.
Okay. I think these are the two people from the university.
Yes.
And then yourself. Yes, yourself, the chancellor of the Gregory University.
Yes, the Savicom is Service Delivery Department of the university. So it's headed by Dr. Elijah. So he oversees it. So anything that we are doing that is like a support service or he takes care to make sure that the university delivers.
Okay. So thank you. We welcome you, Dr. Elijah and Mr. Nwagu Chima.
Thank you very much.
Good. Very good. So,
thank you very much.
Just to go through the agenda for the meeting, which we hope will not be longer than necessary. We are going to look at the overview of the Center for Transformative Advancement and Development in Africa. What an overview that led that to. Since last year, I have been having discussion with Chief Prof. Ibe, who is the Chancellor of Gregory University. He also spoke at our event we held last year during the United Nations high-level event, and one of the outcomes was to look into the community education in Africa, to see how best to improve on its quality and its inclusiveness. And after much discussion, and thank God he had been in the United States for this COVID, and he gave us an opportunity to still went further to discuss about it. So in that discussion, we went further to consider a center for transformative advancement, development, advancement of development in Africa, which has to do with non-circular university program, but development of professionalism in different sectors of careers and education, and also improvement of quality and inclusive education for African region. Incidentally, this aligns with his vision in line with our discussion. So our team, headed by Ambassador Dennis Antoine, we went into discussion and came out with an idea, which we transmitted to Professor Ibe through a letter writing. So we want now to hear from him, from the outcome on the letter, and see how we can move on for that. So I invite Ambassador Antoine to please take over. Thank you. I have to unmute you.
All
Yes.
right. Greetings, everyone. And I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased to, you know, I feel like I'm in Africa right now. I want you to know that's how I feel. But I'm very far from home. So let me first say how pleased I am to be engaged in such a meaningful dialogue. I believe that the topic of our discussion, as conveyed in the letter to you, Professor, is not, it is a part of legacy. I'm sure your university has begun a journey to transform education in Nigeria and Africa as a whole, and I'm very pleased to be participating as an African extract, so to speak, to be participating in this exercise. So what I am very interested in hearing, as Ada has indicated, is your perspective on the communication we've had prior to receiving the letter, and upon receiving the letter, we would like to hear from you. So this is to let you know we are very excited, and as you have been welcome to this meeting, I too want to add to Ada's sentiment and to Julia's sentiment that we are eagerly awaiting your response. So the floor is yours, Prof.
Hello.
Yes, we can all hear you.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. And again, yeah, welcome to Africa anytime, especially my country, Nigeria, and our university. The letter has been issued, and unfortunately, the Vice Chancellor of my university took ill, and then I can thank God that 2 days ago he got out of his sick bed, and he has not been to the office. So that's probably why the reply is delayed. But I brought in the head of the Servicom so that by tomorrow he will try to go and sit with the Vice Chancellor to make sure that the reply, which conveys my approval and approval of the Senate of the university, so that it will be communicated back to the office and to Ada. Let me go a little bit again to what the university foresees. our university being a prime university that brings change to Nigerian educational system, has no other choice than to innovate. And that innovation is what we have keyed in with your office and that of others to make sure that we develop something, think out of the box, so that we will start marketing it once the full setup is done. So we start getting almost all the universities, College of Education to have interest, and we'll start doing it so that they can come for that type of training, like Dr. Ada said, completely not the conventional, but to take care of all the responses or the new challenges that are coming in education. Something happened in the past 1 month. Some people a woman in Nigeria told me that he had an autistic child, and she's now believing herself that she wants to run a school for people with autistic and people with disability in Nigeria. That she's leaving all that she's doing here on earth to go and make sure that she has such education. Do I have the training that I can give her and support her school? I told her not to worry, that we're working on something. All effort, she said, I just want to pass my experience and how I succeeded, and that now that my child is 24 years old and has graduated, I want to make sure that other families know how to deal with this circumstance. So I was happy. And again, our university has the Faculty of Education, which also helps with this training and the building capacities of teachers for Nigeria, and then to be copied by other countries in Africa. So we are very much positioned. And again, I also work with UNESCO in Nigeria, and I am also in charge of ECOWAS, the regional body. I'm the consultant on education. So, and African Development Bank started to look at my papers so that I can set up some of the resource centers that has to give skills and entrepreneurship to African countries like Congo, Brazzaville, Tanzania, and all that. And I've gone to Congo, Brazzaville to see the president, and then the African Development Bank want to give some money. But with such center coming on, and with your backing from the UN, from the SDG, it will afford us opportunity to engage the critical stakeholders in Nigeria, the ECOWAS, the UNESCO, and the Nigerian government, and all the regions, and African Development Bank, on what our center represents. So whatever our center represents will take us just beyond our university, but we are just a host of keeping our thoughts, the program that have been highlighted, so that this thing can take off effectively. And you'll be sure that our university will run with it and make sure that we succeed with the total backing coming from here. Thank you. Ada, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, did you hear me?
Yeah, we heard you very well. So I'm bringing back Ambassador.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Ambassador, yeah.
Yes, at this point, my question to you is, as you have not yet presented to the Vice Chancellor, I'm wondering if you have any specific questions that our team can respond to, or would you like to wait for your team to address the proposal that we made before we go into discussion?
Yeah, Your Excellency, I've seen the proposal, and then I sent it to the Vice Chancellor with an instruction. Mm-hmm. And the way it functions within the university is the Senate. He will invite this week almost all the deans of all the colleges and then they will say that a proposal of this has come, and then the chancellor and the founder has already approved on it, and they will look at it, and then they will first write to accept that we can house this program. And then it will mandate all the deans to do a lot of study and input on the document, and then it will be the secondary documentation that they can make, so that the overview, they can go through it back and forth until we have the finest document to lead us into the program proper. But for sure, it's not to be turned down. I remain yours sincerely, Your Excellency, the beginning and then the final, the signature. So it's already approved. So if we're going into the discussion, let's go, because I know that they're taking minutes to sit with the Vice Chancellor tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I believe that as proposed in our presentation is our readiness to engage and to make sure that we contribute to the capacity development and offering of your institution. And we anticipate receiving the official response from the university. I believe that this team, Ada and Jida, you may like to come in now and at least address any specifics you think we would like to hear from the professor.
Yeah, okay, let me Jide. Okay, Dr. Jide, you can come in if you have any other concerns.
Professor, Ambassador, and colleagues from the university, welcome. Great to see you guys, and I hope you're well. We're both sort of night time. We sort of share the same time, so I hope it's all right. I just wanted, Professor, good evening again, and it's good to speak to you. I thank you for what you've said. I just wanted to, I know it's obviously still ongoing within university, but I thought, I don't know if I can share my screen with you guys, whether you can see. Can I share my screen?
That's what I'm not sure of.
It says you've disabled it. Ada, you disabled it. Can you enable it, please? Can you do that?
I think I can. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
It's good. It's good.
That's good. Very nice.
Okay. Cool. I just want to see what what I'm looking for. I want to share something with you. Ada, you see disabled my screen. This is not my screen.
You see now. So
you have to make him the host. Make him a host before he can share his screen.
Oh my God.
Give him the hosting rights.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Which is going back to the Zoom meeting.
Very good. The document is scrolling. That's good.
Yeah. So which area do you want?
Okay, don't worry. I can tell you what I want to say. Just 1 minute.
If you can let me know the power, I can have, because unless I go back to the Zoom to make you the host.
Okay, not to worry, not to worry. So you can unmute it now. That's fine. It's okay. You can change that back to normal slide.
Hello. Yeah.
Okay, proceed.
Okay, so I just wanted to just to remind the colleagues who perhaps may or may not have seen the document that the Chancellor has seen. The things that we've been working on CITADA, understanding that continuing professional education is something that, and I completely agree with Professor Ibe about thinking differently about the sort of model of what is producing and what is going to give in terms of educational university education. So focusing on a transformative continuing professional education, which I think the focus of our program. And I think we will looking at actually taking learning, retraining learning, retooling it, and re-engineering it, so that I don't hope you guys can all hear me. Can you all hear me?
We are hearing you.
We are hearing you.
And in such a way that actually is relevant to the local area. And I think that on the one hand, we are in Zoom at the moment, very connected, something never happened before, but he's actually looking at making sure that this global agenda has local impact. So moving the global agenda to a local village. So I think that's what we're talking about through an extensive curriculum. And obviously we've talked about these partnerships across ADB, ECOWAS, other countries, UN as well. I think we're going to build that as well as expanding to other countries. So it's all about the transformative agenda. The things I thought, I don't know whether for those sorts of key points, whether your colleagues or the professor has any questions about this.
About what the curriculum?
No, just the key things we think, the value that CITADA will bring to your university, whether you have any questions in the
No, I like I said, we have discussed this in the past, and I read the letter, the proposal. I don't see anything wrong.
Okay.
Like I said, I've already approved it, and then the Senate, the entire university will have to buy into it and understand why and what we are going into, because we are going to appoint a professor and the complete body to oversee this. We have to create their office. And then once the situating the office with the knowledge to everybody within the university-wide information, that there's a center like this, so that they will be informed, staff will be asked to be part of it. So all those things that the university have as their own agenda and the job they will do, just consider that those things should be done. It is after those articulation and the reply, and then with the team can now move forward, so that at each time there's a call, somebody is responding. You can refer anybody to the center, and the center will be alive. The ICT guy will also populate the center. If there's a website, it will be linked to the university, that there's a center like this that is been approved by the Senate, and then they will communicate it to the interested parties that we need to expand to and consult for as well, and provide products or services. So just be sure that it will be where all those things will be tidied up immediately. The Vice Chancellor replies. In his reply, it will convey who is the head of that center at the university, the local organizer at the university point. If I may ask, just 1 minute, Elijah, I hope you read the document.
But I'm yet to see the document.
Okay, so the VC, you meet with him tomorrow. But
I will
by
do
the
that,
time
sir.
you'll see him tomorrow, but we will make sure that you have a copy to go through after this meeting, so that when you meet the VC, you will be telling him what was the outcome of the meeting.
Okay, sir.
I believe a very fundamental point that we should really focus on is the new normal, or the rethinking of education globally. And Nigeria, with a population of students that has been traveling the world, the globe, will now be constrained. And this process of online learning is a critical new dimension that if your university undertakes such initiative, can really, really put you at a leading edge. You know, for example, UNISA out of South Africa is the largest institution for the traditional distance learning. And when we talked about distance learning, it was like correspondent courses. It is nothing like the leapfrog that we're trying to do as we're doing now. Imagine this was a class, a conference, a seminar. That is not what UNISA has had in its arsenal. However, it is the largest ever what is called access to education in Africa. So today, the discussion we're having puts you at the front line in providing the shortfall for the many students who were moving within the continent and outside the continent that cannot do it anymore. So you're really positioning yourself, and what we're bringing to you is the world-class access to modern practices that is needed in Nigeria and on the continent.
Okay. So, Your Excellency, presently, like my Savicom can always say, all the universities in Nigeria, I think we commenced online. We, like I said the other time, immediately that the COVID started, is because we've been visioning that this will take this way. Every other university that is around us wanted to know how and why, and then those things will definitely work. Like I said, we're already working on artificial intelligence, data science, and then the head of ICT has been having the courses with a company in Tela. It's a company in California. We've been working, and then our university is consultant to some government ministries on how to deepen data science through AI knowledge among the civil servants, so that they can form the departments that they know. So we're already like being a pace setter, and then this opportunity we have now to set up this center is something wonderful. And once it is done, we'll look at all the opportunities that are there in here, and then from here you can sign up the center to a lot of opportunities on online materials, online education, online different online software to deal with, including the books, the e-books, whatever the center can get, it will be shared amongst the universities in Nigeria, Africa, and then everybody will definitely be involved. I appreciate this great moment that is coming, so that we'll provide leadership with the full support of you and all the people that are here.
Thank you so much, Professor, and thank you, Ambassador, for your comments. I think it just sort of, your comments now, in a sense, now we've sort of got to understand, got to understanding the sort of the basis in which the relationship wants to work forward. I think it brings us very neatly to what the modalities will be. I have in sort of some suggested things to perhaps to bring up for colleagues to begin to discuss. The professor has talked a little bit, about the staffing of the CITADA in Uturu. So perhaps if we just focus on the governance. So by that I mean governance in the widest sense. thinking about the structure, thinking about the legal basis for it, how it works in the university, just to get a sense of how it's set up, how it works between CITADA and GUU, and everything else. If we can maybe just have a bit of a discussion around that, and what we each bring to the table, and then maybe have some outcomes from that, and then we can move on to the next one, which is going to be a lot of meatier sauce around the curriculum. You know, we've talked about a lot of things to develop and how we go about developing those. To just frame it for us, it would be nice if let's talk about the governance. Just put in sense something around key things we want to achieve and maybe what the timelines will be, so that when we are moving forward, we know exactly what we're aiming for. So, I don't know if I want to leave it to Ambassador or Prof to think about governance at the widest sense.
The center, we are just hosting the general office. So most of the governance structure has to come from the body here. So like I said, we are the local center that is overseeing what we want to do in Africa. So that template must be done by us and recognizable with the input of the university, so that at each time the governance structure is kept there and then the linkages are made. And as we are moving forward, whoever is our head locally at the university will also be communicating to the center in the US here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think okay. I think that solves the basic information that is needed to take the next step forward. Just as I hope, are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, just
very well.
Ambassador has mentioned before, and even Prof also chipped into that. There are still a lot that needs to be done. So what we are just to ignite the action for the process to start, and the center has to be involving and to take charge of overall need for professional education and advancement that has to yield transformation in Africa across all levels. It has to include the students, executive bodies, not only educators, not only teachers, but everything. Take, for instance, assuming the center has been in place and then the new normal it just come up, then the center will take the responsibility to provide every necessary and training out the new normal. And I want to share that one most interesting thing that has given me the passion is that the Gringo University is a university situated in a community that is into standard and quality education. And that is the end thing, because in African setup, it seems that every good thing goes to the urban setting and the rural community is neglected. So, but for the university, even at this time, to still continue education from the rural setting, which means that good thing can also be advanced to transform the communities of Africa. So that's one of the major ideas, and also to see how best to enhance the implementation of the 2030 agenda. Of course, the UN 2030 agenda is fast moving, and we have about 10 more years to go. And within these 10 more years, we see through what the center can give out to transform African communities through education and professional development. His Excellency has also mentioned about re-engineering and retooling, because this is very, very vital, because the new normal has also emphasized about a new normal that has to do with technology. And that is where the major vision of this institute, of this center, will keep in. addressing some of these issues to include the desires and sustainable growth of rural communities?
Now, I believe that Ada has touched on a very critical aspect. But in our discussion, what we are proposing also is the rebranding of the institution as the premier institution for addressing the future economy. Remember that the tangibles that Africa and the developing world have become accustomed to prior to this, what we're in a catastrophic state to address how we meet our daily, what you would call means in the economy. The center would be that very important bridge to the future. So your university would become the go-to institution for retraining individuals, for ensuring that there is preparation. Because remember, online education requires educators just as it requires students. And so you need to have these mid-career professors prepared and trained as to how to forget the physical distance and recognize that we are intimate in social capacity to engage, but how to do it so that you get the results. So the preparation for the future economy, moving away from tangibles to intangibles, and recognizing that Africa has a projection by 2040 or so to be the leading demographic in the world for the use of this kind of what is called trading services and e-commerce and data and other forms of digital currencies and so much apart from Africa's physical wealth, which is the leading demographics in the world to have that now. That's why you see we have to prepare for all the diasporas that are flooding into Africa. So our vision has to be transformative in realizing that we do not want to be a consumption society. So you want to be now leading and providing access to the young Africans that want to learn from, look at the doctor in London and Ada at the UN, and so we can funnel through this channel the proper, what is called models, that so we are ahead of the game. I'm getting very excited about this because I do hope that we're becoming a part of a leading, what is called transformation process.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you so much. I just like to, if I could, because so we can, I think Ambassador's points have been well taken. We've discussed this quite a lot as we develop the program for CTADA. I think this sense of transformation keeps coming up all the time. What I'd like us to do, if it's okay, just to really think around the bits, how we can develop some clear, timelines so we can sort of get things moving forward if we can, and so we can get some of these ideas to bear, to actually see them implementing it and developing it. So the Chancellor has talked about having a local team working with the international team and communicating very clearly as they set up this center at GUU. Am I correct in that, Chancellor? Chancellor?
Professor. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to clarify then, will how does it work? And what do we have any governance issues in terms of the program will be about learning, education, certificating. How does that linking with the way GU provides training? Does anything else need to be done? Any certification, any licensing for those sorts of things?
Within Nigeria, yeah.
Within Nigeria.
Mhm.
Yeah, what he's trying to find out is, do you need to have a process through the Nigerian University Commission before the center can be kicked off? Or is it also, is it already in line with what you already have as your license to operate your university? Does it need to go through a new legal process with the Nigerian University Commission?
The question is directed to
Yeah, to the
Professor, the Chancellor.
to chief. Yes, the
Did he
chancellor.
hear us?
I believe he's on mute. Yeah, he's on mute.
Elijah.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, but the prof is
It's in a better position to answer the question.
yes.
Okay.
But why are we missing him in discussion?
Is he on mute?
No, he's on mute. Yes, he's on mute, and
He left his sign.
no, he's still there.
He left his station.
He left his station. Yes. Oh, maybe just stepped out.
He's back.
Yes, Prof, you are back. So a question was directed to you, and we lost you. We were looking for you.
Prof, sorry, I hope you can hear me. Sorry, Ambassador has left. But I think what we're trying to work out, Prof, is the center is going to provide education for lots of people, continuing professional education. Some of those will be certified, most will be certified. And can you hear me? Can you hear me, Professor? Can you hear me?
I think he's on mute.
No, he's on mute. He's not on mute. Hi,
Professor, can you
Prof.
hear me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
We are trying to find out a clarification with regards to the policy, the process in Nigeria. The that does it need to pass through any legal process with Nigeria University Commission, or is it okay with what you already have with the university?
As soon as the Senate of the university takes the decision that that like this have been established, their function, it is a body of the Senate that establishes it. And then the only thing happens to probably write to NUP officially and the education that this body is now existing and this is our objective and this is what we are meant to do. And then we'll start involving anybody. Well, we are a university, so we can go ahead and do what we are doing, provided the body of the Senate, comprising all the deans and the head of a department, have already approved its existence. So from there, it can take on, just like creating research centers that in the university, there's no legal thing that you need to go and register. But once we want to engage other people, and we decide as a body to say that it is going to go beyond the university in terms of being taken to like a commercial venture. You can be sued and be sued. You can sue and be sued. So you want to get a registration in the Nigerian corporate system of your existence. So that makes it an independent body sitting in the university that can engage in anything beyond being a creation of a foreign body and the university in order to help improve on educational content, educational delivery, capacity building. So that is the objective. Did you hear me? Hello, ma. Ambassador?
Can you hear me?
We
Can
heard
you hear
you.
me?
We can hear you. We heard you. Everybody was on mute for you to speak. So, Dr. Jide, do you have any other thing to add to it? Or any question?
This is a really good point about the Senate approving this thing. So if you don't mind, if I just ask you a little bit more about this, because in terms of timelines, I know you talked about the VC not being so well and much better, and I know you're obviously out here in the US. In terms of the time for the Senate to review the document, maybe ask us questions and things. Do you know how long it might take for them to get a sense of getting the Senate approved?
Between now and Friday, or maximum Monday, you will get a full Senate document. The university did not close because of the COVID. Rather, the students were asked to go home. And then all the other lecturers are operating from home, and then the centers of the Savicom that is in the university, which is a creation of the Vice Chancellor, the Savicom. They're all reporting to the Vice Chancellor. So the Vice Chancellor is there, the Deputy Vice Chancellor is there, everybody is in school. So what I'm saying is that today is Wednesday and tomorrow is Thursday of the university. So the Savicom will relay this meeting in a report to the Vice Chancellor. It will form part of the memo that the Senate can sit on Friday. Whoever that, I will definitely talk to the Vice Chancellor because, like I said 2 days ago, he's now looking well. He's now okay. In fact, I told him to join this, and I told the Vice Chancellor. What's the time? Maybe his doctor asked him to maybe to sleep. If not, both of them were asked to join this Zoom discussion. So don't be worried. Next week, you are going to get the outcome, the approval of the Senate. Like I said, it's already been approved, but you need to carry the university as a whole into what we're doing.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. I think what I wanted to find out, I think you've said there were 2 steps to this, and I just want the judge to know, and then in terms of what's going to move, moving forward. 2 steps: the Senate will sit and approve, right? That's going to happen by this week, and then NUC bits. Do you know when that will be ready?
And the university continues with what they are doing, and then engage whom they want to engage, and the letter of the Senate is not under NUC. The university is only a supervision. The license we have, apart from the minimum standard on education, you can create anything that will distinguish your school in the field of education. So it's left for you to use whatever center you've created and reach out to the entire community, because you are an authorized agency on education. So the NUC is just a noting body that next week they can always send an email that they've concluded arrangements with the team and that such center is in existence And that's all. It's just a mere communication of letter, and we go ahead what we're doing. Those things are not, and moreover, I'm a consultant to NUC, so it's not a problem.
I see. Okay, that's really, really useful. Thank you so much.
And then again, Madam Ada, the Fulbright that sent the lecturers to Nigeria and Africa, they've just asked me to do a proposal from our university to the Fulbright. So, and then they will now be sending lecturers from Nigeria education, interested educationists here, and they will pay them to go and work at that center. So we will definitely, upon establishing this center, the office here in the US will write to the Fulbright Center and ask them that we need them to please approve and send lecturers to go and work at the center.
Okay, so that's really useful. So that's really fine. So just to clarify, Professor, just so that we're very clear, Senate will approve the proposal, and then NUC will be informed, but it doesn't stop the university providing a vehicle for providing education to its students. So that's really cool. Just to then move on a little bit to some of the discussions about CITADA and Gregory University, just to understand the relationship. Perhaps if I invite the ambassador and Ada to just talk about how the relationship will sit and what you'll gain, how you propose to see us working together with you.
You see, the issue of the relationship, financial benefit and all whatever, I think when these are subsequent discussion, when you receive the formal approval and establishment, then if you want the MOU to be signed the way it want to carry on with the activity of that center, we expect you, and of course the university will write you that they want you to give them further clarification on funding this center. And then going forward, when they now start building capacity of people, either locally in Nigeria or outside here or wherever, and then there will be like a journal to support what the center is doing. And then people will start becoming a money generating. So how do you want that one to be? Such proposal should be out from the initial document that will be sent to the university after the approval. So they will look at it.
Okay. I just wondered, okay, sorry. I don't know if anyone wants to make a comment at all from.
Just a question, please. When does the university anticipate begin offering courses through the center? What projection do you have?
Okay, now, Your Excellency, once we have these approvals, we expect the parent body, the CITADA here, to provide the necessary curriculum, to provide the necessary enablement, and then we are going to start jointly marketing the program and inviting teachers, inviting agencies that work in education, and then private and public owners to please avail them this opportunity, and then they can now start to subscribe to it. So with the next session for the university, for any of those things, normally starts from September, October in Nigeria. So that's but COVID has already dragged everybody 6 months down the line. So, and we're not here to open except that we're doing our own. So it's going to start from the next session, whenever it is. But our own from October, we believe that our next session starts. If we are ready, then it will fall part of the adverts, the program offering that we're going to send to the people of Nigeria, and then the documentation we're going to file in ECOWAS of what we intend to do. Of course, somebody from the office here, the Citadel, will always be working and creating the flyers and everything, and then we'll be out there on social media and making presentations so everybody understand that there's a center in existence there. So whatever happens, we are marketing the program and we believe that people will buy into it. So from next session, from October.
Okay, thank you to everyone. I think the take we have to obtain at this time is to have a second meeting pending when the university will send a response or follow up to the next discussion. So
it will be next week. Next week.
Yeah. So I don't know if Wednesday, I think 15th of July at 5 p.m. If it's okay for everyone. So
it's
that
okay.
we'll have the next meeting on 15th of July, which is on a Wednesday at 5 p.m.
That's
And
okay.
then, sorry? So
that's okay.
Dr. Elijah.
I'll meet with the VC tomorrow. But
Okay.
you promised to give me the document this night.
I will give it to you.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, we'll be able to have, we'll be able to receive the document from the university before then, and then we now have the second stage of discussion. It's a good thing that we're able to have some of these foundation issues cleared through this discussion. And the next stage will go into the on grounds of on the basis of the letter or the response from the university. So, but the bottom line thing that the CITA don't need to pass through any legal process with the Nigerian University Commission. So that's a very good information we'll be able to learn tonight. So with that, not saying that I move that we end the meeting. I don't know what Ambassador has to add in, but if not, we end the meeting today and then work towards the 15th of June. Yeah. But however, university is free to communicate with us through email or even phone call in terms of any other information they would like to share or information they need in order to enhance their response letter. So Ambassador Excellency, please.
No, at this time, I think you're on the real course. This is, I think, a good juncture for us to just summarize that our expectation is to get word back from the professor so that our meeting on the 15th of July would be very productive.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Excellency.
Okay.
Madam Ada, did you record this this bit of this meeting?
Yes, yes, on video, yes.
Okay, so if you give it to me, and then I will also we will get it also. The Vice Chancellor will listen to all that we said, so that they can play it for the Senate. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
London,
thank you very much.
Elijah,
All right,
Nigeria.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank
Keep
you.
safe and good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Boom, boom, boom.